Batman's big wedding day is quickly approaching, but will there be a place at the table for the black sheep of the family, Jason Todd? Well, let's hop on into Batman Prelude to the Wedding Part 4, Red Hood vs. Anarchy number 1, and find out what happens next, shall we? Okay then, so up until this point, all these wedding tie-ins have been moving forward in chronological order, but get ready for it because they decide to turn back to the night of Catwoman's bachelorette party. And hey, are you ready for this? Tim Seeley actually finally answers my question about whether or not Selina has friends, and he does a deep continuity dive to do so. We see her former gadget maker from the Ann Nocenti run, we see her friend from another one of the new 52 runs, heck, we even see the Yakuza's daughter who became Catwoman for a little bit and smooched on Selina. The girls, as we discover, are not alone. They're actually being watched over by Jason Todd, but not in a creepy way or anything. He was actually sent there by Batman to spy on them, which is actually super creepy. Also sets a really bad tone for the rest of your marriage there, Bats, if you don't trust her enough to go out and have fun on her own and have to send a chaperone from the shadows. Jason, being in character, is a massive dickhead and only agrees to take this job from his Bat Dad on the condition that he pays him $150,000. Whoa! Then again, I guess Batman only goes to Red Hood when he needs something, so hey, get paid, son. The night takes a turn, though, when the strip club the girls are partying at comes under attack by a bunch of anti-women radicals. Inspired by and given moral support from the supervillain Anarky, these guys are going to destroy the strip club because they hate the idea of women receiving any sort of pleasure whatsoever. That sounds ridiculous when you say it out loud, then I remember I've been on Twitter and it's actually not ridiculous at all. Red Hood defeats these guys very easily, and once he sees the mask they're sporting, knows that this is part of some bigger ploy by Anarky, which is weird when we stop and consider Lonnie was actually something of a good guy and on good terms with the Bat family at the end of the last Detective Comics run. This leads to two big questions. What's his beef with Batman? And second, why is it spilling over to Catwoman? Well, get ready for a doozy of an answer. So, at first when Red Hood goes to Anarky, he says that he's angry at Batman because he destroyed his utopian commune under Gotham City, even though that wasn't the case when he and Batman last met. In fact, Anarky had even joined forces with him to help to defeat the Victim Syndicate, but hey, whatever. Basically, Anarky wasn't allowed to have nice things, and because of that, he's not gonna let Batman have nice things like a wife, but he's not gonna take a shot at her like a normal person. Instead, Lonnie has concocted one of the most needlessly complex and yet also kind of awesome assassination plans I've ever heard. You see, using his influence from the interwebs, he's gathered together a bunch of groups: fascists, anti-fascists, communists, anti-communists. People who like pineapple on pizza, people who wear socks with sandals, all to one place in Gotham, knowing that they're all going to hate each other and that they're going to beat the crap out of each other. And that Anarky just kind of hopes Catwoman is going to be killed in the crossfire between all of these groups once they start shooting at each other. Wow, what an interesting idea for a plot that is absolutely wasted on this lackluster story. Red Hood beats up Anarky easily enough and then disperses the crowd of radicals by telling them that he'll donate to their own personal pet causes so long as they leave. Ah yes, because at the end of the day, no matter what ideology you subscribe to, nothing is mightier than the dollar. But wait, there's more. At the police station, Anarky changes his story again, and also tries to explain how he knew about Batman's upcoming nuptials. You see, the Joker told him. You see, Anarky has actually been in touch with the Joker for years. His single mom told him to kind of mess with him that the Joker was his father. Obviously, none of this was true, but he wrote the Joker anyway, and suddenly out of the blue, the Joker decided to write him back, which spurred Anarky to do all of this right now. Wow, that is a major reach. And believe it or not, that's the end of the comic. So that's Red Hood vs. Anarchy, everybody, and despite starting really strong, it goes off the rails and downhill super quickly. Seeley definitely writes Jason in the Scott Lobdell mold, and that is to say that I didn't exactly like him. I found him self-centered and a bit of a D-bag. But Jason is so totally not the problem here. It's the villain. You know what? Ra's taking issue with Batman getting married makes sense. Hush taking issue makes sense. They're really starting to stretch it now with guys like Riddler and Anarky and why they would care and why they would even know. And that's even before we think closer about all the continuity with Lonnie that was more or less thrown out the window so he could have a fight with Red Hood here, which isn't much of a fight, by the way. What's even crazier is I think the fix here is obvious. This story should have been about Catwoman fighting Anarky, and by extension, sins of Batman falling on her. It also should have focused on her bachelorette party and should have come earlier. They also set up that Batman is breaching her trust in this story, and then at pretty much never comes up ever again. It's a shame too, because the continuity deep pulls and a genuinely interesting plan from Anarky should have been so much better served in a better book. This is not it, a 5 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's Cape Jewel again, and I want to thank you for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, why not check out some of these other videos I'm hard at work on. Then, as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Jewel, so you're up to date on what I got coming out next. And if you're feeling in a supportive mood, please by all means check out my Patreon, link down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So until next time everyone, this has been Cape Jewel. I will be back again with more great comic content that smacks of greatness. Bye-bye, everybody.